Hi, my name is Jared, and this is Horror Obsession, bringing you recommendation number 14 for Horror October. Yesterday, I recommended one of the best zombie movies of all time, a movie which had as big of an impact on the zombie genre as Scream did on the slasher genre, and paved the way for about a decade and a half of zombie TV shows and movies. Today, I'm recommending a movie with its own place in horror history, albeit in a different way. Today's movie is High Tension, 2003, directed by Alexandre Aja, who also directed The Hills Have Eyes remake in 2006, Piranha 3D, which was an adorably campy popcorn monster movie, Horns with Daniel Radcliffe, and most recently Crawl in 2019, a surprisingly exciting movie really carried by Kaya Scodelario. What I am getting at here is Alexandre Aja has carved out a nice career for himself on the strength of mostly horror movies, and High Tension is what got it all started. There is a series of French films in the early 2000s which became labeled New French Extremism by art form critic James Quant, including Secret Things, Glowing Eyes, Trouble Every Day, and ending with High Tension. This is how the French extremist movement was first started and labeled, but the movies most associated with the term today are due to Matt Smith, who lists High Tension, Them, Frontiers, Inside, and Martyrs as the films that defined the genre. The movement has been described as, quote, a crossover between sexual decadence, bestial violence, and troubling psychosis, end quote. And as someone who has seen all of the 5 films just listed, I can confidently say this is an understatement of the depravity of the genre. For those of you who don't like gore and are looking for softer horror, take my word for it and stay away from all of those 5 movies, especially Martyrs, since maybe the subgenre of horror titled for extreme violence is not the best place for you. Alright, enough backstory. What's the setup for High Tension? The movie starts off showing a woman running through the woods covered in blood. Then we find out this was Marie's dream, who is driving with her friend Alex to Alex's parents' farmhouse out in the French countryside to study during break. After they arrive and get settled in, a stranger arrives to the house with bad intentions. And that's the setup for High Tension, a movie which lives up to its name. For those of you who complain about characters making stupid decisions in horror movies, this movie features one of the most intelligent scenes of attempting to evade a killer ever put to screen, with numerous decisions made and details considered that most people would overlook. Those of you who have seen the movie are probably hoping for me to comment on the ending, but since I don't want to spoil anything, I will just say I wish they had done it differently, but for me it doesn't detract from the overall fantastic acting, cinematography, and most of all incredible suspense this movie delivers for its efficient 89-minute runtime. Alright, and that's recommendation number 14 for Horror October, and check back in tomorrow for a movie that you've probably heard of but also probably haven't seen, another 80s classic with a very unique premise.